questions, please raise your hand. Let's go fourth row over here on one, in the center, in the tan. Hold on for the mic. Yep.
Lugan, tu as été excellent dans ce match-là. Évidemment, vous n'avez pas le résultat que vous voulez à la fin. Ça a été comment d'avoir cette énergie-là énorme de la foule puis de vivre ce moment crève-cœur à la fin?
C'est bon, c'était bien. La foule va toujours nous supporter, même si on gagne ou on perd ou n'importe quoi durant tout le match. Ça, on aime ça, mais on a des trucs à travailler. Demain, on va regarder du film, on va voir qu'est-ce qu'on peut s'améliorer sur. C'est sûr que on aurait voulu gagner ce match-là, mais faut nous battre 4 fois. So, on a encore d'autres matchs à jouer.
Jenny, over here on the left on 2.
Hey, Lou, Jenny Carlson with the Oklahoman. Shay was just in here saying, doesn't really matter how you lose, it's still a loss. But the way this one went down, how do you guys guard against not having it have carryover?
He's right. He's right. The games is ups and downs all the time, and then you just gotta finish it. Losing like that hurts, but at the same time, there's a couple of stuff that we could have done better. And then it's a long series, so gotta get back tomorrow, watch film, see the stuff that we can get better at, and then right back at it in a couple of days.
Up here in the front, Joe.
Joe Masato, the Oklahoman. Lou, was this kind of reminiscent of Denver game 1 for you, just a game that you controlled for the most part, game-winning shot at the end, and is that experience you can sort of draw back upon given how that series ended for you?
For sure, yeah. It happened before. Obviously, we had the right approach throughout the whole series against Denver. So, like I said, this is a different team. So we got to go back, watch film, and really get better and try and not let that happen again.
Over the front row, Nick.
Hey, Lou, the things that you guys have relied upon since the beginning of the build, 0-0 mentality, 48-minute game, how, I guess, maybe anticipatory are you that those are the things that are going to be tested here in the finals?
Yeah, still the same mentality, honestly. Next game, we go on with a 0-0 mentality and just to go out there and trying to win the game. And, like I said, it's one game, it's a long series, so we'll be better next game.
Second row, Tim, on the right.
Tim McMahon, ESPN. Lou, you guys had them really in hell for the first half as far as your defensive pressure. What happened? What changed in the second half for you guys defensively?
I guess they did a better job taking care of the ball. Our intensity has been the same. They hit a lot of tough shots. But that's just how we play. We play really hard, and we trying to turn them over. And then, I feel like they just took care of the ball.
Over here on the fourth row on the left.
Jerry Ramsey from the franchise. Lou, despite the loss, you shot the ball pretty well and sort of kind of kept the Thunder in offensively for a little bit there. Just talk about, getting into finals game 1 and just kind of putting that on your shoulders. Defensive specialist, sure, but knocking down these shots to keep them in the game.
Yeah, just got to shoot the right shots, honestly. Be in the right spots. We got a lot of guys that attract a lot of defenders. So, whenever I can get open, I'll try my best to do it and to shoot it with confidence.
Go ahead, Dan, in the middle.
Dan Devine, Yahoo Sports. 2 have forced them into I think it was 19 turnovers in the first half, but only be up 12 at halftime. Just what was the process like offensively for you guys in the first half? And then, knowing that the lead kind of, you felt like you maybe even should have been up bigger than that, was that any kind of concern when you went in at half?
Some of the looks that we usually make, we miss them, I guess. We turn the ball over. They turn the ball over a lot, so we could have do a better job of converting on offense. But they're a good team. They're in this position for a reason too. So, like I said, watch film and be better next game.
Last 2 in the third row.
Alexandre Tourigny de RDS. Évidemment, c'est pas le résultat que tu voulais, mais au niveau personnel, tu étais partout sur le terrain, défensivement, à l'attaque avec 5 tirs de 3 points. Comment tu as vécu ce premier match-là pour toi en grande finale?
C'était le fun. On a travaillé fort pour se rendre jusqu'ici. J'ai travaillé fort pour me rendre jusqu'ici. Alors, je vais enjoy vraiment ça avec mes teammates. Puis, c'est pas le résultat qu'on voulait, mais c'est une longue série, puis on a encore beaucoup de chance. Alors, on va garder la tête haute, puis on va continuer à s'améliorer pour le prochain match.
Michael, straight ahead, last one.
Lou, Mike Grange from Sportsnet. I mean, you personally, you did have the 4 steals, a couple of blocks, that big block on Naismith. Was there something you saw as you were studying this team that allowed you to be that aggressive, that successful when you did go for the ball?
Honestly, just being the game. On that end of the floor, I move a lot. I pay a lot of attention to some of the stuff that they do. So anytime I can, sneak one in there, a steal or a block or whatever, I'll do it. And that's just how I play. And then, whenever I got to do a play like that for my teammates, I'll do it.
Thank you, Lou.
Thank you.
Jalen. Take questions for Jalen. Back row over there, or 6th row. Yep.
John, I think Indiana scored 12 points in the final 2.5 minutes. Just defensively, for a team that performed so well in the first half, what did you guys see in those final 2.5 minutes that you guys didn't do well?
Our offense was really slow, I think, and we kind of let that dictate how we played on defense. Obviously, when you're down by what they are, they're going to go fast, and you kind of gotta. For right now, we gotta have film, look at what happened during that time. But right now, it's just gotta tip your hat. They made some really big shots down the stretch, and just for playing with the hunger of being down, and it kind of was like we were trying to play like we were trying to keep the lead instead of trying to extend it or keep being aggressive.
Dan, 3rd row.
Jalen, after such a quick turnaround like that, such a reversal of fortune, how do you guys avoid shell shock, for lack of a better term, being able to go from that high to that low? How do you ride that out getting into game 2?
Well, it sucks, but we have been here before. Obviously, the Denver series, probably honestly around the same thing, to be totally honest. So we'll get back to 0-0, look at what we can do to get better, and it's 1st to 4. So regardless of if it's the finals or round 1, round 2, you still have to win 4 games. So we'll take that and be ready for game 2.
Next question here in the front.
Joseph Pavone, Clutch Points. Relating to that loss, or the way it went down in Game 1 against Denver Nuggets, what are some of the shortcomings that you can somewhat relate to in this game, especially down the stretch in that 4th quarter?
Had a couple of defensive breakdowns that cost us, a couple offensive rebounds that cost us, just little stuff down the stretch. When shots, I think we had a really good offensive process going through. We got some good shots towards the end, but when shots aren't falling, you can't have, defensive breakdowns like we did.
Jenny, next row back.
Hey, Jalen, Jenny Carlson with the Oklahoman. For as many turnovers as you guys had, you only had 11 points off those turnovers. How do you turn that into more points? Was that just an off shooting night, or was there something else going on there?
Nah, I think you got to look at what kind of turnovers we're getting to. Sometimes you get them you get a turnover in the backcourt. Sometimes the defense is behind you now, so you try and obviously pace out and run something. We'll look at it though. I think, like I said, the goal of our defense is not really to get steals. It's a byproduct of how solid we are on defense and how well we're communicating and playing defense. But I mean, just steals are a part of the game. Obviously, you want to convert more on them, but at the same time, you got to understand what kind of steals we're getting and just kind of how they're coming.
Howard in the middle.
Back from the ringer. Jalen, you've, I'm sure, watched a lot of those Pacer comebacks earlier in the postseason and a lot of Haliburton's shots. What was it like to be on the other end of it? And, what did you think when you saw them against other teams versus having to be on the other end of it tonight?
I mean, it sucks. I don't know.
Next row up.
Jerry Ramsey, franchise. Jalen, none of their guys had 20 points, but 6 of them were in double figures. Just can we talk about how hard it is to defend a team like this that doesn't have, especially in this game, a primary scorer, and it just seems like everybody's chipping in?
Can you repeat your question? My fault.
None of their guys had 20. They had 6 guys in double figures, though. Just how difficult is it to guard a team like this that, you can't really focus on one primary scorer. Everybody's just sort of chipping in here and there.
That's what makes them good. I think that's what makes us good as well. Like I was saying earlier, just throughout the week, we're very similar in how we play. And they understand that, it's 5 people out on the floor, and you're definitely a more dangerous team when everybody's involved, and they do a good job of moving the ball and playing with pace and doing stuff like that, which is why the loss sucks a little bit, just because we had controlled the game for as much as we did and kind of let it go away a little bit towards the end.
Back left.
I was wondering on the missed shots, did they come out of your hand good? Did you feel good about some of the ones that you'd love to have back?
Yeah, for sure. As a basketball player, even if you probably ask anybody in Indiana, like, they're going to have shots that they thought went in or felt good. Like, that's just the nature of the game. I think a lot of it is just continuing to have a good process about how you get the shots, and I've repped a lot of the shots that I shot tonight over and over and over again, consistently throughout my career, this year, the playoffs. So all you can do is shoot them and not get scared to shoot them. I think that's the biggest thing. So go into every game confident in my work and go from there.
Anyone with a final question? Thank you, Jalen.
Yep.
Two together.